So we're gonna have two discussions on one of the things I really want to know about is storing frames. I have a disaster going on in my yard right now with stored frames. I just cleaned up a whole bunch of wax moths and larvae, and it's a hot mess. So I want to learn about storing frames and protecting those frames over the winter. So we're going to have it done by two different perspectives. Somebody who's not even completed her first year of beekeeping and someone who's been beekeeping a very long time. I have no idea, Regina. 10 years. Okay, so we got a barely 1 year and a 10-year. So Emmy's going to come up first. And you can tell us how you got your research too, because I think that's kind of nice.
Stole it from a website.
Okay, so winter frame storage. So the concerns that you're going to be trying to, protect your wax from. The bees have spent a lot of time and energy making that wax, so you want to, save it so that you have it when you put them on in the spring, and they don't have to, draw out the comb in order to start making the honey. Basically, you have your pests and environment things. Biggest pests are going to be the wax moths and the rodents. The small hive beetles, not really much of an issue for the wax. And then obviously rain, humidity, mildew, mold.
I could have brought up some frames to show you that line.
I don't think anybody actually wants to see that. All right. So the first thing you're going to do after you extract your honey, you need to dry the frames. Extractor is going to be great, but there's going to be some left over. So anything, the honey, the comb, the pollen, it's all going to be attracted to those pests. You want to put the frames and the foundations outside where the bees can come along and clean up that excess honey that the extractor didn't get out. And then obviously, you could potentially be bringing in yellow jackets or hornets or whatever also. So you want them away from your house, away from your hive, so that they're not going to steal your good stuff. All right, after that's done, you want to take care of the pests first. So you're going to freeze the frames, especially if you're using like your, refrigerator freezer and you have your own food in there, whatever, to place the frames in the plastic bags, just so that if, larvae or whatever fall out, they're not falling on top of your frozen pizzas. And then 20 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 5 hours will be enough. If you can get your freezer even lower than that, if you have like a dedicated freezer or whatever, and get it down below less than 5 degrees Fahrenheit, you would only have to do it for about 2 hours to kill off all those pests. And then there's 4 methods that I came up with for storing things over the winter. First one is just like the airtight method. First thing, a bag, not like a trash bag, because that's really thin plastic that wax moths can actually eat through. If you can get like the thick vacuum seal and seal the frames inside them, that's going to be obviously great because it's airtight. You could also use something like a plastic tote and just make sure that you duct tape all of the holes and the gap between the tote itself and the lid so that it's absolutely airtight. And then seal it immediately after removing them from the freezer, just because the wax moths can get in there pretty quickly if you leave them out sitting. You think you've taken care of it, but then you get new ones in. The open air method, this I thought was really cool, especially like the DIY little rack thing there. This just takes advantage of the air and the sunlight. You're keeping them, air flowing and not in the dark, so the moths aren't going to be interested in going into them anyhow. So just a rack like this, or the other one there is a couple of things in like a barn. Just make sure you have the sunlight to, again, keep the moths away, and spacing them about 1 inch apart so you get the airflow. This is good if you don't have a lot of indoor space, because you need the sunlight and the outdoor air and everything like that. But, again, it has like a little roof on it to keep, I guess, rain itself off of it, but out in the elements. Okay. And then the crisscross stacking, what I read was this is the easiest, cheapest manner, but it's not very much guaranteed. You want to make sure the boxes are off the ground itself, so put them on like a stand of some sort, and then just stack them, rotating 90 degrees. You can do this inside, but it does need light. You do it outside, there's not enough light in between to keep mildew from growing, because part of the boxes are covered by the box above it. Good thing about it is it's chemical free, but again, not guaranteed to definitely keep everything off. And then the stacked and sealed method, again, off the ground. Recommendation for this was to start with an upside down top cover, so have the metal side on the ground, and then stacking the boxes inside the lip of the top cover, and using a plate of the p-dichlorobenzene crystals every 3rd box. These are specific moth crystals, not moth balls. You don't want to use those. That's not a chemical that would be safe for your bees or your honey. And then apparently there's also certain BT larvicide, which you can put in there. Stack them up, like I said, a plate of the crystals every third box, and then a second top cover, and seal it with duct tape around all of the cracks and everything, because you want to keep the fumes inside the boxes.